Hi, good evening. Welcome back to my channel. Now, today's discussion will be on in continuation with the last yesterday's topic, that is decision making. Now, I try to explain as to what do we really mean by decision making in general terms. Today, I will put this the concept of decision making, or the basics of basis of the decision making into the management area. Now, today I'll focus on as to how does this what is this term management and decision making is closely related, the association between these two as to how they are related and correlated. Because when we talk about managerial problems, managerial decisions, so it comes both, because the problems are there and therefore decisions ought to take. So yesterday I emphasized upon as to what the significance of decision making, and therefore not today I'll put it into the application. Uh, Let us understand one thing, as I've been, off late, been repeatedly, I focus is whatever can be taught can be learned. So this is the fundamental aspect of this. What can be taught, what we hear, what we see, what we do, that can all be, can be, there are practical applications of everything. So what is being taught can be learned. So coming back to this decision making, yesterday also, I got certain mails which said is fine as to how does this decision making comes into it, as to how does it relate it to our day-to-day life. It is not only when we talk about, when I'm discussing about decision making, it is not mainly focusing on business organization. Now, business organization is one type of organization. In fact, there is a, for example, if I take a family is again an organization where there are four components, or four parts of it. For example, father, mother, and two children. So this is again an organization. Now, what we call it as an organization is when two or more people, they combine together to achieve a common objective. So in similarly, the theoretical aspect of the of this study of management, that is applicable to every kind of organization. Today I'll be focusing on the family organizations and the work of an housewife, and then related to the business organizations, because I do understand there are so many of my viewers who are young, who have not been into they have not seen as to how does this business organization looks like, how does it works like, and therefore they will not be able to relate it to the very concepts, or the fundamental concepts of understanding the management or managerial decisions. Yet when we talk about managerial decisions, it looks like that we're talking about in business. No, anybody can be, a housewife is a manager of the house. So she keeps on doing, taking so many decisions right from 5 in the morning till she goes, uh, say late in the evening, till she finishes up all the household chores. So this is not exactly related to, she is also doing management, maybe knowingly, unknowingly, what I call it as, consciously or unconsciously. Now, understanding the various concepts, or the fundamental concepts of management, let us, we do the same things. But now, what I say is it, if how good it is when, if it is consciously, when we do something, we know about as to why we are doing and what would be the outcome. However, there are housewives who do exactly without fail, without anything, doing wrong with them day-to-day basis, on hour-to-hour basis, even in a minute-to-minute basis. They have to take so many decisions, with their own judgment. Like I said yesterday, with their own experience, with their own intuition, with their own judgment, with their own expertise. So all put together. So it is not mainly now. It will be easy for us. All the students, if there are business people there, it's that is a different story altogether. They will be able to relate it to the business organizations. But or most of us, my viewers, they are young, and therefore they have not been into a business setup. So it would be very difficult for them to relate it to the concepts to the business organizations. Now I've just mentioned about conscious and unconscious. That means, or let us understand this thing in a very simple way. I mean, these things are very complicated at a high level when we talk about psychology and all. Let me put it in for my own viewers, as to all human beings. Therefore, they have got two minds. Two minds does not mean it is it is divided. The activities, for my convenience, I've divided into a conscious mind and a unconscious mind or subconscious mind. Now, what exactly these? What I'm trying to say is, conscious mind is a gateway to unconscious. Whatever we hear, see, feel, whatever is being registered goes down to the unconscious mind. So whenever we do an activity, the conscious mind is a gateway. It sends the message to the unconscious or subconscious mind, and see to it whether the whatever the decision ought to be made, whatever the kind of information coming, whether it has been earlier done or not. So the subconscious mind or unconscious mind will automatically tell, no, no, this activity has not been done, this is for the first time. Now if it is being the same exercise has been done, any exercise which has been done earlier, any thought process gone into it, and therefore it get registered. So this unconscious the subconscious mind will send the message, okay, fine, I got to know it. Now this is plays a very, the whole the personality aspect I've been discussing, the personality, this personality is based on the previous information which is already stored in an unconscious mind. So whatever we do, whatever we practice, whatever we learn goes to the unconscious mind, and then we do it. So many aspects, so many work we do it. I mean, what we call it as in today's world is multitasking. So the brain is again, the mind again is a multitasking. You are doing something, you are thinking something, and you are achieving something. So all the activities are going simultaneously, and this is where the the database or the knowledge base plays a very important role. So this knowledge base gives an information, yes, of course. Now, for example, if my brain is, if you prepare your brain in a, say, for example, what a fast example could be, for example, if it is in positive affirmations. So the this unconscious mind will send the message to the conscious mind. Okay, okay, fine. I'm a confident person. I can do this work. I have been doing it. I will do it correctly. So these are the positive affirmations which are lying in the unconscious mind, and which sends to the message, okay, fine. If you are doing some work, you are able to do it. Now, if there are negative affirmations being given to the mind will say, okay, no, 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 how can you do it? You may do it wrong. It is not worthwhile. It is not your baby to carry out this work. You do not know. You have not done it before. So this is how the negative informations will react and will give message to the conscious mind, wherein we try to relate it. Okay, fine. No, no. Negativity is again where it comes from. It comes from the subconscious mind. Whether this is how you program your mind. If you program your mind in a positive with positive affirmations, you get the positive. You are if you do it in a positive manner. Whether it is right or wrong, that is a separate issue altogether. Now, positive attitude does not mean you are doing all the things right. No, that is not positive. Positive is, yes, of course, whether a kind of work I have been doing, one, or I have not done it before, two, but I will be able to do it. Now, this is what I call it as positive affirmations. Now, negative affirmations is, no, 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 why should I do it? It might go wrong. The blame would be on me. I will not be able to do it. I have not done it before. So these are negative affirmation, and this is where personality plays a very important role. All these characteristics, all these traits, they decide the personality of a person. Now, for example, I said positive attitude. Now, positive attitude is one thing. For example, body language. If for doing a work, if the work has been given to me, or I intend to do some work, now if I have got negative thoughts, my body would know, would be like droop, my shoulders will be drooping down, my eyes will be down, and there is no, you will find no energy in the body. Now if there are positive affirmations, now the body would be straight, the posture would be right, so everything would be in a right perspective. So this is, the conscious subconscious mind, it determines the personality. Now, learning personality traits is one thing. Imbibing those personality traits in a positive manner is a different thing. We may be knowing so many things. We know that one should have a good communication skill, but unless and until we do it, we are able to write it. We take bold steps to speak among people. Now that is where it comes into whether you are talking right or wrong. That is again a separate issue altogether. But one should be able to discuss things. One should be able to explain things, and that is where communication skills plays a very important role. So, having said this, now important aspect is as to what do we mean by this management. Now, for this, we ought to decide upon, no, I have to go for management studies. I have to do my bachelor's in business administration, then in master's in business administration, and I'll learn it. Now, that is what I'm saying. The learning becomes, consciously in when we do certain courses. You ask a housewife now, she says, okay, fine, I do my work, but I do not know as to what is it. She does the inventory management, she does the financial management, she does, she's very good at using her resources, whatever. And the resources are always in scarce, whether it is money, whether it is maybe vegetables in the house, maybe the ration, what we call it as, in the house, and so many things. And her planning keeps on changing. It's not like she has got a one chart and she follows those. No, she does it at her own convenience and does all the work. And this is how she knows about time management. But what ask you about an illiterate Indian woman, that she would not be able to tell us, okay, what is time management. But she does she utilizes the time so perfectly that the breakfast, it gets ready by 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, the lunch is ready by 1 o'clock, the evening tea is by ready 4:30 or 5, whatever the case is, and the dinner again at 8:30. And this is repeatedly, and she does not fail on any given day. And this is the beauty. She keeps on doing. She knows as to at what to start, how much to make, how many people to make, what are the changes to be made. She keeps on doing. She keeps on managing, not knowing as to what management is. Now the beauty of this, what I'm trying to suggest is, when we are able to do it, why don't we do it consciously? Now that will give a kind of that, what I call it as, a confidence that yes, I have done it. I owe the responsibility for that. Now, management is essential for any organization, for that matter. I said I'll focus upon the business. Now, any kind of organization as a child, as in school, for example. Most of my viewers are in school, for example, till 12th. They are studying in 11th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and so on and so forth. Uh, so they might be, they play games in the school. So they might be the captain of the particular team, or they go for partying. They like parties. Again, organizing party. Now, when we say organizing party, for example, what does it mean? So automatically we know that we have to have 4 or 5 people to organize a party. Why? Because this party word is being divided into 4 5 major areas. For example, when we talk about party, what does this party comprises of? Sorry, this party comprises of food, venue, people, music, invitations, for example. 5. So this gives us an idea that to organize a party, I require 5 people, and these 5 people should have the basic experience or expertise or liking for 5 things. For example, if we mismatch the nature of the job and the nature of the person, so that will not do justice. It's not in what I'm trying to emphasize. I'm not talking about 5 people. 5 people with required, desired, uh, specialization. Now, the person who likes food, if you give the food department to this person, he or she will do justice, in selection of the menu, for example. How does the food will taste? So, because the person has the liking. For example, the person who has liking for music, he or she will be doing justice with the kind of the music to be played for the guest. So this is, it's not a matter of 5 people. 5 is the number. Now the kind of people we require, this is where we does it. Okay, fine, you do it this, you can do this, you can do this. You invite people, you have got good communication skills, and therefore we give you the job for inviting people to the party. So this is what we are doing. This is, again, we are managing things so as to achieve the objective. Now, what is the objective? To have a good party. Now, this is the objective to be achieved, and we require five people because there are five types of jobs identified to carry out the party for say, for example, tonight. So, what I'm trying to say here is, or want to try to emphasize here is that when we this is what management in some form or the other is an integral part of a living and is essential wherever human efforts are to be undertaken to achieve the desired objective, not the objective, the desired objective. It is being, the desire, what I intend to achieve should be determined. How much to achieve should be determined before. There are two aspects to it. Either we do the work and get whatever the answer is, whatever the outcome is, we should be happy with that. Okay, fine. No, number two is no. I have to achieve this, and will achieve this particular say target set, and then we say, okay, fine. I've done the work right or wrong. So that will decide the whether the work was good or bad. No work is good or bad for that matter. But they're related with when the objectives are first set, it is then you determine whether I'm able to achieve that. If you are able to achieve that, the work is considered to be a good work. If you're not able to, it requires an improvement. So, but looking at the managerial role of simple housewife and how she uses the managerial ingredients in managing the home, that is, an absolute. And I love this example. It's very often in my class. I discuss about this housewife, how she manages in the kitchen. This one kitchen, explains the total management uh, uh, expertise or the managerial outcomes, or the learning from managerial aspects of management. It's one of the most beautiful examples. My favorite example is of, for example, for the students who have not been into the business world. So therefore, if you talk about this, management again is an age-old concept where however, this technical management studies is of, say, maybe 80, 100 years back. But the human life is so, thousands of years have passed, and human life. So one way or the other, the people, they are managing their activities according to the situation they were put into, or according to the environment they were exposed to. So all these environment kept on changing from time to time. The circumstances changed from time to time. The technology 20 years back and the technology as of today, it's there is a big change. The people who are of my, it becomes so difficult to relate. Uh, this uh, this the quantum of the changes have taken place for the last 20-25 years. For example, if we talk about technology only, so important is, so coming back to it is as to how does it related to the decision making. The answers, the looking out for one. Somebody asked me as to how does it, have to convince my parents, and I decide upon something, and parents, they do not agree. It's a matter of not as to what you intend to do. You have to explain to your parents. You have to understand their point of view and see to it as to, now this is what we call it as the scarce resources, the kind of the information the parents are having, the kinds of information you are having, and you have to justify. This is where communication skills comes into the picture. As to you should be, should be able to read the mindset of the parents as to what they have got the information, whether I'm not talking about good or bad or old or new. What, you have to convince it, and this is convincing again is one of the major aspect of management. So how do you convince? Now that is why I discussed upon so many traits where I focused upon. Very important aspect is the communication skills, whether it is written or verbal, and the listening skills. Most of the people there, I've in the business, I conduct so many training courses, and in classroom study as well. Minimum of people, they talk about the listening skills, where I considered as a professional that one, before even the communication skills, whether good or bad, that is a separate issue altogether. It is one important aspect is as to how good your skills are at listening. So that will determine upon, these listening skills are very important, because when you listen to something, your mind also keep on pondering upon, make certain changes. Okay, fine, he or she said something, it should not be like this, it should not be. So if the message get distorted, whatever you are receiving the message, it's being distorted. And how good you are in analyzing the things, it will not give the desired results, because you missed on the listening aspect. And what we focus upon as to how do I speak, how do I write, but that is the second part of it. As to what about, as to what kind of the problem was coming. This problem is related to listening aspects, understanding listening in the sense they're not exactly listening, but when the problem is coming, hypothetically I'm talking about, whether it is written or somebody is explaining you that way, it can be, termed as a your listening skills. So management is again a problem solving. When we look upon management or managerial things in a as a problem solving process, there are many other aspects of management which has been defined. That is not the topic here. At least I will be having 6, 7, 10, 12, 15 definitions to justify and to understand the term management. But here, for my convenience, because the focus is only on decision making. So for decision making, yesterday I kept on discussing upon the problems. I'm so sorry. So again, I will focus on only when we look upon management as a problem solving process. Problem solving process. Why? Because there is a problem, I have to solve the problem, and solving problem is related to the decision making. This is how, the both the things are related. I'll try to put all the things together. So management, when we talk about, is a problem solving process of effectively achieving organizational objectives through the efficient use of scarce resources in a changing environment. So environment keeps on changing. For example, in a home, the mother cooks food for 4 people for the house. So for example, husband, wife, and 2 children. But all of a sudden, two guests drop in. So she has already cooked the food. She was in the mid process. Now this is, changing environment. Or two of the family members say, okay, fine, they are not going to eat today because they are not feeling fine, or whatever the case is. Again, she has to change. So external changes takes place, and with the external changes, one has to make the changes in the internal. This is in our hands. We cannot, justify, or we cannot put all the environmental factors or the external factors. They will not play according to my own wishes. So what are the best possible is, फॉर एग्जाम्पल या ऐसे हो जाते हैं हिंदुस्तान में, हम देखें लड़की की शादी होती है, वो जाती है, अब उस पर शी हैज गॉट ओनली टू वेज टू सर्वाइव इन दी व्हाट वी कॉल इट एज सोसाइटी. Either she follows the rules and regulations there, what are already exist, she becomes the part and parcel, or she changes all the members of the family according to her. Now, which one is the easiest way? She has to decide. I'm not going to decide upon. I will not give an answer to it. But it is again goes into the thought process. Two options as to survive in the house in which she is married to. So similarly, it goes for every kind of organization. Therefore, now here it is, problem solving is, there is a problem and one has to take a decision. Why? To solve the problem, one has to take a decision. Now that is understood in this. Whenever there is a problem, you have to solve the problem, and problem solving process, whatever it is, whether it is a small process or a long process, whatever it is, a short process, but one has ought to take a decision according with the given constraints, according to the given situation or given environmental scenario. Efficient use of scarce every resource, whether it is money, whether it is your physical fitness, or physically, or so whether it is material, they are being considered as a scarce resources. And therefore everything, there is no one good golden day where everything would be right and I'll start up the business. One has to start a business or start a work, for that matter, within the given situation or given constraints, because there is no one fine golden day where you have got everything and then you decide upon to work. No, whatever resources we have, whatever we have to start with. Are we able to start with that? Now that is where your managerial capabilities comes into the picture. Because if everything was fine, nothing, no, nothing is required, then everything is okay. But worldwide we see, we do any activity, everything is not fine. And therefore one has to, make the combination and permutations to get the desired results, to get the desired objective. So again, efficient uses, when you are able to reduce the wastages of each kind. This is what we call it as efficiency. Each kind is time, money, and effort all put together. If you are able to reduce it to the minimum, it is being, in general language, it is being considered as a efficient work. That is, you have done the work efficiently. Now, if for example, what I do means, for example, time. So if the work was to be completed, say within 2 hours, or by say within the range of 2 hours, and I completed it in 3 hours, and I have did the whole thing correctly, now that would not be considered. That would be work completed. Work completed efficiently? No, because it has got to be finished within 2 hours. For example, I did the work, I bought something, I bought it, with utmost care, for example, for 200 rupees. But that only cost, cost, or the price was 180. So again, it will not be a buying. We call it as a, say, logically, it has not been considered as an efficiency. No, because the only thing required was 180, and you paid 200. Again, it will not be considered under the efficiency aspect. I'll be discussing all these, issues in my forthcoming videos, and I'll be, well, I intend to come up with, in a to take a few of the discussions as far as general management is concerned. So one aspect of management is problem solving. One has to solve the problem, and there are problems of, n number of problems, never ending process. There is not even a second where there is no problem. The only thing is as to how good you are at doing or completing the work accordingly, according to your own capabilities. Then we efficiency have explained upon efficiency is waste, to reduce the wastages of every kind. Similarly, we cannot eradicate, we can reduce. For example, risk. We cannot eliminate the risk from the business, though the intention is that there should be no risk. But we can only minimize the risk. We cannot. And important, the last aspect is the changing environment. The environment keeps on changing. Environment is the external factors. For example, the customers can change at any moment of time. Fashion changes without any given any indication. This is one of the most, this is one area where if you are able to understand the pulse of the people. Fashion, for example, you can make big money, you can sell your product. But if it is a slightly late or something, the fashion changes very fast. If you are not on the dot, you have lost the market already. Before even entering into the market, you have lost it if you're not able to understand the trends and the fashion, because it changes very fast without giving any indication. So that's all for today. Tomorrow I'll be, continuing with the more on the concept of the management. Thank you so much.